Hello everyone, my name is Gabriela Kurkowski, and today we are going to talk about the role of X-ray in forensic medicine. So let's get started. So throughout this presentation we are going to be talking about what forensic medicine is, how X-rays play a role in this system, what are the benefits of using X-ray, and then we're going to talk about something very interesting called forensic anthropology. And throughout the whole presentation, we're going to look at image examples, such as this one. This is a post-mortem x-ray of a hand. You can kind of tell because the hand is not optimally placed on the image receptor. It's a little too scrunched up. So first of all, what is forensic medicine? Forensic medicine is actually a part of a system called forensic science, and it's a very important part of forensic science. Forensic science specifically is where crime scenes are analyzed to figure out exactly what happened during a crime. And forensic medicine utilizes and applies medical knowledge in order to answer questions about the crime that was committed. So it's very, very important when trying to figure things out. So since keeping this in mind, we can deduce that since crimes usually involve the human body, we can understand why we would need the use of forensic medicine in order to figure things out. And one of the fascinating things that forensic medicine utilizes is X-ray in order to take post-mortem images of the body, like this one. This is a post-mortem image, and you can see the knife in this person's back, which, leads to foul play. This arrow is pointing to forensic anthropology, a little snippet of that, which we will talk about later. So X-rays and their role. So X-ray is one of the most common imaging modalities for forensic medicine. They can help identify bodies in multiple ways. For example, looking at pathology, like if a certain disease or if a certain injury was recorded in a person's medical record before they were deceased. If they showed up on an x-ray after, we can figure out that that's the same person. Like in this picture right here, you can see the fixation devices in this person's ankle. That would clearly happen before they were deceased. So if it came up in their post-mortem x-ray, then we can deduce it was the same person. We can also look at other things, not just implantation devices. Like, for example, this humerus seems to have been broken at one point, and the shaft of the bone is now calloused and hard. So if there was a history of an injury, then we would be able to see that on a post-mortem x-ray. So the benefits of using x-ray is, and this is something that I find most fascinating, is it allows a look into the body before an autopsy occurs, because we all know that autopsies are given on people who died in an uncertain way. And something to think about is autopsy, you don't necessarily open up every single aspect of the body. Like, for example, in this picture, you can see that a bullet was lodged in the lumbar spine, which unless they followed the path of travel, they probably would have never found it, because the lumbar spine is not necessarily opened up during an autopsy. So it gives a very good examination of things before the body is cut open. Anatomy and pathology play a big part in figuring out what happened or trying to figure out who the person is. So X-ray obviously gives us a good look at this, as we all know. And a very important thing is it can localize foreign bodies and their point of interest, and this can keep the tech who's doing the autopsy or the doctor safe. That way they can figure out exactly where the bullets are before they try and extract them. And we can see in this picture, the line shows the point of entrance and the path that it traveled. So this is where the bullet is at, and this is the line that it was suspected to travel. And here's another bullet right here. Then we see in this picture there's just a lot of bullets that would probably be hard to find in an autopsy. It would take longer, but they're all localized in one picture. So now we get to talk about forensic anthropology. So forensic anthropology is when skeletal remains are studied and examined in order to gain knowledge about the victim that they're examining. X-ray will give us a very good look inside of this because X-ray is very good at looking at skeleton, your skeletal system. So the cool thing about forensic anthropology, I read a story, is it can determine identity, cause, and time of death. It can figure out the origin of trauma. It can figure out things like age and gender. I read a story where, in these pictures specifically, it's showing how the sinus cavity is formed differently as you grow up. So if you are trying to figure out the age of an adolescent, it would be good to look at a sinus x-ray because before a child turns 6, there would be no presence of a sinus cavity on an x-ray. From the ages 6 to 8, there are just only 2 small cavities, such as these, with a little gap in between them. From ages 8 to 12, the cavities expand, but don't necessarily touch, like this one is showing here. And from 12 to 18, the cavities expand and join. So by looking at this, if they were trying to determine the exact age, they can even do this. And obviously, X-ray is one of the only modalities that will be able to show us that. So now I just wanted to show you some postmortem images. These are both CT, and the cool thing about this one is it's all the same picture, but it's just stripping away certain aspects. So in this one, it stripped away all the muscle, all the soft tissue, and just showed the bones to give you like a different look. And this one stripped almost everything away, and it just gave you the organs, which also gives you a deeper look into that. And this one, you can tell something happened to the side of their face. You can see this soft tissue swelling right here, and it's giving us a good look into their skull. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed listening to my story about forensic and the role that X-ray plays in forensic medicine. Thank you so much for listening.